Hi everybody, it's Deborah from PeopleLovingAnimals.com. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching today's video. Today's video is about mistakes that pet owners make. As pet owners, we love and care about our pets, and we would never do anything to intentionally hurt them in any way. But there are some pretty serious mistakes that pet owners do commonly make that can not only cause health issues and behavioral issues with your pet, but some can actually shorten your pet's life. So in today's video, we're going to talk about 9 of these common mistakes, and I'm also going to be giving you a ton of tips and also some additional resources on how to not make these mistakes. So I hope that you find today's video to be helpful. If you do, please go ahead and give it a like and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. I'm going to ask you to please share this video with your friends or family who have a dog or a cat. If you have not been here before, my name is Deborah. I own this website called PeopleLovingAnimals.com, and several times a month I do videos all about the care and health and training of dogs and cats. So again, please subscribe if you're not already, if that kind of content interests you. Now, I'm going to use this post on my website called 9 Mistakes Pet Owners Make to guide us through today's video. If you don't have a lot of time today, feel free to click on the link in the description box and you can go through these 9 items fairly quickly. But in the video, we're going to discuss these and we're going to talk about how to prevent them. But I will give you the link to this article and anything that we discuss in the video. I'll give you all the links in the description box. So again, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate you spending the time with me today. 9 mistakes that pet owners make. 1 is not giving enough thought to their food. I'm not just talking about making sure they have enough food. I'm talking about do the best you can to give them the best quality food that you can afford. Pay attention to the ingredients and just, put a little time and effort into what kind of food you're feeding your pet. Now, even if you can't afford the very best of the best, like fresh food, do the best that you can with the budget that you have and what you can afford for your pets. I'm going to give you a link in the description box for my article called Best and Worst Foods for Your Pet. It includes a video, and that's going to give you some help to decide what kind of food you should be giving your pet. Also, avoid overfeeding your pet. By reading the package instructions, they always tell you what the portion size should be for your pet's weight, and always make sure that your pets have a lot of clean water. And please remember to wash their food in water dishes regularly. I do have a couple recommendations if you would like to check into either fresh dog food or fresh cat food. My recommendation for dog food is the Farmer's Dog. You've probably seen their commercials here on YouTube. And my recommendation for fresh cat food is Smalls. There is a discount on both of those for your first month if you want to click the links in the description box and check into that. Also, consult with your veterinarian. Get their opinion about what the best food for your pet is, and always check with your veterinarian before you change your pet's food to make sure that what you're changing them to is going to be okay for them, or if there's not something better that you should be changing them to, right? The second mistake is not taking pets to the vet regularly, and I so understand this one because, when I was younger, for years and years, I really didn't have the money to take the pets to the vet as often as I should. And again, if you can't afford it and the only thing you can afford to do is to give this pet a home, try not to feel guilty about it, but it does need to be a priority if you're going to be a responsible pet owner. And regular vet visits are the only way that things can be detected early so that they don't get serious, and also to prevent illness from happening. Now, vet bills, like I said, can get expensive, but you got to realize if you take your pet to the vet every year, your vet's going to catch stuff before it gets serious. When it gets serious, that's when it gets expensive. Okay, so I think you can actually save money in the long run by doing the preventative stuff and take them to the vet every year. I'm going to give you a link in the description box for my article called Help with Vet Bills. That also includes a video, and that gives several tips on ways that you can get help with paying for the expenses for your cat. or your dog. I'm sorry, I'm a little off my game today, stuttering a little. The third mistake is not spaying or neutering. Having your pet spayed or neutered is an important step in being a responsible pet owner. You will eliminate health issues. There are medical benefits to spaying and neutering. Also, you're benefiting yourself because obviously you're not having an unwanted pregnancy if you have the female. And also, there's a whole lot of behavioral issues that come along with a pet not being spayed or neutered. Unneutered males tend to be more aggressive. If they're a cat, they'll spray. An unspayed female, if you've ever been in the same room with a cat in heat, you know what I'm talking about. They'll spray. They're always trying to get out of the house. Spaying and neutering really does prevent a lot of behavioral issues, and it does have a lot of health benefits for your pet. Again, if you're having a hard time affording that, I'm going to give you a link in the description box for my article called Free Spay or Neuter Clinics. Again, that includes a video, and that's going to give you some help on how you can find low cost or free services in your area to have your pet spayed or neutered. The fourth mistake is neglecting dental hygiene. Pets need regular oral care just like humans. You should start to brush your cat's, I don't know why I'm saying cats today, your pet. Brush your pet's teeth starting early on, especially if you get them as a puppy or a kitten, because it just gets them used to it and they just consider it a normal thing, right? I am going to give you a video, not by me, but from a veterinarian called 6 Ways to Keep Your Pet's Teeth Healthy. And that'll go over some more tips about how to brush your pet's teeth and what exactly you need to be doing to keep their teeth healthy. Now, I can tell you from my own personal experience, dental bills get expensive for pets, and they can also be just as fatal as they can be for a human. If you have an infected or an abscessed tooth, that is an infection that can travel to your heart, and you can actually die from it. Not to mention you have fever, you don't feel good, all these sorts of things. The same is true for a pet. So again, those annual vet visits, your vet will open the pet's mouth and look at their teeth. Now, I personally had a dachshund who had 2 $1,000 dental surgeries when I first adopted her. She had abscessed teeth, and it was dangerous. And the vet said she's in an enormous amount of pain. And, it cost me a lot of money to have her teeth taken care of. So if you can prevent the dental issues by just taking good care of your pet's teeth, save you a lot of money, and good for your pet, right? You don't want them to get sick from something like that can be prevented, right? The fifth mistake is neglecting grooming or doing it incorrectly. For example, if you have a long-haired pet, they do need to be brushed often, sometimes every day. If you don't do that, matting and all these things, it can lead to some pretty serious, very uncomfortable issues for your pet. Pets should have their nails clipped regularly. Dogs generally need regular baths, depending on how much they're outside. For example, you may be surprised to know that cats should not be bathed. There are only a very few exceptions about when a cat should actually get a bath, okay? If that's surprising to you, and if you have been giving your cat a bath, or if you thought you should, watch my video called Don't Bathe Your Cat. I'm going to give you a link to that in the description box. And always consult your veterinarian for any grooming advice for your particular pet, because they will know what is best for that particular animal, their breed, their age, if they have any medical conditions, that sort of thing. But I do have some articles that I can give you for more help on this topic. The first is How Often to Bathe Your Pets. That has a video, and it covers dogs and cats. How to trim a dog's nails at home, and how to trim a cat's nails at home. If you'd like to go ahead and click on those, they're an article, and they also include a video. The sixth mistake is giving your pets people food. Now, I know that this can be kind of hard not to, especially if you have an animal who begs. If you've been here before, you may know I have a cat named Whiskers. I adopted him about 1.5 years ago. And if I get an animal as a puppy or a kitten, I simply never start that. Just don't start it. Don't start sharing from your plate. If you want to give your pet something, like say if you're eating chicken breast and you have a little FCG, I'd like to put a little little chicken breast in my pet's dish, that's fine. But wait till you're done eating, go out to their dish and put it in their dish, okay? Don't even start, feeding them from your plate or from the table or, when you're sitting on the couch eating or whatever. But if you are in the habit of doing this, realize that most people foods are really not good for pets. There are a lot of things that are poisonous to dogs and cats. A little later in the video, we're going to talk about that. Most of the time, their digestive system simply can't handle a lot of different people foods. And also, giving them table scraps in addition to their regular food often leads to obesity, which is a big health problem and really, does, in fact, shorten your pet's life. You're not doing any favors giving them a bunch of stuff, okay? Now, in the article, I say, if you can't deny your pet's sad eyes when they're begging you to share, ask your vet for a short list of things such as vegetables that you could have available to share with your pet. They might not even know what you're eating, Sometimes you can even get away with having a little bit of their crunchy food and just give them some. They just want to be with you. They want to share with you. They think you're eating it. They want something. It's not that easy to fool them. You give them a little piece of a carrot or a little broccoli floret or something like that. They're not going to look at you and say, hey, wait a minute, aren't you eating salmon? Do you know what I mean? For the most part, they're just happy to share with you. So that's just one of the things. You don't necessarily have to share what you're eating. Have something on hand that is healthy for them. I'm going to give you some resources here to help you on this topic. One is a blog post by professional dog trainer Doggy Dan called Dog Nutrition: Incorporating Vegetables into Your Dog's Diet. It's a really helpful post about dog nutrition. I'm going to give you an article by me, includes a video called What's the Best Food for My Cat. It's pretty informative and kind of helps you to make some decisions. I will give you a spoiler alert. Wet food is best for cats. If you want to go ahead and watch that video, I talk in that video about why. I'll also give you an article called How to Help Your Dog Lose Weight. That does also include a video, and I'm going to give you a link in the description box to request a printable list of foods that are poisonous for dogs and cats. You can print it, you can put it on the fridge, you can share it with your friends, and you might be surprised at some of the foods on that list that are actually toxic to your pets that you might not know about, okay? The seventh mistake is not giving enough attention. All pets need love and attention. Pets need socialization. They need interaction with humans in order to develop socially and emotionally. Failure to provide sufficient engagement with you and other people can lead to fear, depression, behavioral issues, separation anxiety, and sometimes even aggression. Pets also need regular exercise. They need mental stimulation. So walking your dog and playing with your cat are important. I know that schedules can be very busy, but please try to make sure you set aside some time each day to engage with your pet, okay? Play with them, walk them, pet them, hold them, speak to them, okay? Just try to make it a priority, okay? Another mistake is not checking their collars. You may not realize how fast your puppy or kitten is growing, for example, and last time you knew the collar was fine, but now it's like way too tight and, you're not checking it. Also, just in general, cats and dogs will gain weight and lose weight and gain weight and lose weight, for a variety of reasons, especially as they get older, they may gain weight. So don't forget to check their collar occasionally and just make sure that it's fitting properly. Not only not too tight, but not too loose, that it's going to fall off. I also, by the way, this is my little wiener dog, Taz. She was the one that cost me all the dental work. You can see she's wearing a harness. I always take every opportunity I can to recommend to people use a harness instead of a collar for a dog. And if you put your cat on a leash, because if they're pulling on their collar, they can suffer from collapsed trachea later down the road. This particular dog, Taz, did suffer from collapsed trachea when she got older, and the vet said it was a direct result of her, pulling on the leash all the years of her life, when she's out on the walks and stuff. And it's dangerous. It can be fatal, but watching her struggle with that when she was elderly was pretty scary, and it was pretty heartbreaking. So it's just a really simple thing. And the other thing is, if you've got them on a harness instead of a collar, you have way more control over the dog, way more control, and it's far more comfortable for them as well. So I'm going to give you a link in the description box to find some harnesses like the one that little Tazzy is wearing here. They're easy to put on and off. They're machine washable. I had 2 or 3 of them, so whenever I washed one, I just had another fresh one to put on. Once you switch to the harness, you're not going to want to go back to a collar. For cats, I recommend a breakaway collar, especially if they're allowed to go outside, because, cats are always into things, jumping on things. If they're outside, they climb trees, they get into shrubs, and you wouldn't want their collar to get caught on something, and they either can't get away or they're choking on it. So there's something called a breakaway collar, for their safety. I'm going to give you a link to check those out if you don't already know about those. Another thing is, make sure that your dog or cat has identification on them, okay? You never know if your cat's going to get out of the house unexpectedly, if it's an outside cat, if they, somebody thinks they're a stray. You know how many cats are adopted and they aren't even a stray? If your cat's out, they don't have a collar on, if they're getting friendly with people, those people might think that the cat doesn't have a home, and they take them in and you never see your cat again. Also, if your pet escapes, if they get out, if your dog somehow gets loose on a walk or escapes from your yard or something, make sure that they have identification. Now, you can do a microchip. If you want to check with your vet on that, you can. It's my understanding it's fairly inexpensive. But you can also quite simply purchase a pet tag. I'm going to give you a link to a place called pettags.com. And they have just those little metal tags that you put on their collar, and it has their name and your phone number, so that if the pet is found, somebody can see that and call you, okay? So that's very helpful. The 9th mistake is leaving pets alone too much. Now, I know that this can be difficult, so please just bear with me on this. I'm going to offer you some help on this. Now, cats obviously have their litter box, but dogs obviously need to be let out, and they should not be expected to hold their urine for long periods of time. Doing that regularly can cause health issues, pretty serious, like urinary health issues for your dog later in life. And obviously the dog not being outside enough, let outside often enough, is going to lead to some accidents in your house. I'm going to give you a link to an article from thepetly.com that goes over in quite a bit of detail about how long dogs can hold their urine, based on their breed, their age, health issues, all that sort of stuff. It's an extremely complete and thorough article. So I encourage you to please read that, because chances are you may not be correct on what you think is okay. And regardless of urination timelines, pets should not be regularly left alone for long periods of time. Doing so can lead to behavioral issues, depression, health issues, separation anxiety, and more. I'm going to give you a link in the description box for 2 articles. One is how to find a good dog sitter, and one is how to find a good cat sitter. Now, obviously, there are professional places that you can go online and you can hire somebody and you can pay them to come over and walk your dog or let your dog out or check on your cat or feed your cat or whatever. But in those 2 videos, I give you a lot of really good ideas on how you can get somebody to come and check on your pet when you're at work, for example. Have somebody come in, take the dog out, check on the cat, make sure they're okay. I think you'll find those to be very interesting. And not having to leave your pet alone so long is easier than you think. It's easier to solve than you think. One more thing I want to say on this issue is dogs in crates. I'm going to try to remember to give you a link in the description box for a free crate training tutorial from professional dog trainer Doggy Dan, where he goes step by step on, how to do it correctly. But I always say, just because your dog is still alive and hasn't peed in the crate when you get home doesn't mean that it was okay for them to be in that crate that long. Do you know what I mean? If you have a dog and you're leaving at, 7 o'clock in the morning and you're not coming back till 6:30 at night, 7 o'clock at night, and that dog has not been let out that entire time, if they've not had a drink of water, if they've had no interaction whatsoever, if you're doing that continuously, that is not okay. That is not okay. So please, again, I'm going to try to remember to... if I do forget to put the crate training video in the description box, just look on my channel for under dog training for crate training and you'll see it. There's a free tutorial for it. So again, it's easier than you think to make arrangements for your pet so that they don't have to be left alone so long. And, that does include cats. Cats are pretty independent, but they need interaction. They love you. They miss you. If you have an indoor cat, they need stuff to play with. They need mental stimulation, just like anybody else. Your pets need this, just like people do. So that's one of the things that you should take into consideration. I want to thank you for sticking with me this long. I know the video is a little bit on the longer side, which most of mine are, but it's because I like to discuss the issues, not just rattle off a list to you, and I like to give you a lot of additional resources to get help on all the various issues that we talk about. A couple more things if you'll stick with me for one more minute. If you've not been here before, you don't know, I donate to animal charities. I do peoplelovinganimals.com as my job, and I donate 10% of my earnings to animal charities. And if you go to the homepage of my website, peoplelovinganimals.com, you will see a list of the animal charities that I donate to. So again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please go ahead, like, subscribe, share the channel so that this information can get out to more pet owners and help more people and help more pets. Also, in the description box, I'm going to give you links. If you would like to sign up for either my cat lovers email list or my dog lovers email list, or you can sign up for both, you'll get an email about once a week from peoplelovinganimals.com, and it will be all about the health and care and training of dogs and cats. And I think that you will find that service to be pretty valuable. I think that you will enjoy it. I think that's it. Thank you again so much for watching. My name is Deborah, and my website is peoplelovinganimals.com. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.